It is. All you have to do is follow the stench in this area to this lift where it spewed 10,000 gallons of wastewater this morning after a massive power outage. And we're told that 10,000 gallons went into the nearby drainage system. You can see it's right here, and then it flows onto the other side right here. And Poley Creek, we're told, is right behind the homes in this neighborhood. We have some video from when we went back there earlier, and you can see that it's prone to flooding already. Now, it was hard to get direct answers when we spoke to Polk County Utilities today because we were trying to find out why they're having so many sewage spills. Now, Emergency Operations Center says Polk County Utilities is in charge of sampling this after the spill, but we're told the weather and the flooding is a factor, so they're going to have to come back once that weather dies down and then sample it to see if there's any hazardous waste. But right now they said the material is unrecoverable because of the high rainfall. Now, when we asked them where this creek flows into, they could not give us a direct answer to find out where that sewage possibly could be flowing.
I can't tell you where Poley Creek goes. I don't know.
So you don't know where the waste is that's in Poley Creek?
Well, it goes along with the flow to wherever Poley Creek dumps, which could be another creek to another creek. I don't know, eventually into a lake or river. I don't know.
I mean, would that create any problems, any kind of domino effect or hazards?
No, it's too small of an amount. Sounds like a large amount, but compared to the amount of water that's in that system, it's not.
How do you know for a fact that it was from the storm?
I don't know. I'm just assuming that that's what caused the power outage. Somebody could have hit a power pole and caused it. I don't know. The only reason we had the overflow is because the power dropped out.
Now, when they sent their press release out this morning, they said that this sewage overflow was a direct result of the storm. But as you heard him, he said now they're just assuming. So we'll wait until they can get back out here and take samples. In the meantime, he said they are working to improve the overall system. Out of about 335 lifts around the county, they're working to replace 125 of the worst ones. Those were his words. We're going to have more details coming up about some previous sewage spills in the past. That's at 6. Live in Polk County, Shelby Danielson, 10 News.
And we'll check back with Shelby in just a few minutes.
It has been such a gloomy day.
Yes,
and let's stay in Polk County tonight because they are dealing with a major sewage issue caused by a power outage.
Shelby Danielson is out there live this evening. And Shelby, you're in Bartow where you've been trying to get some answers as to what happened today.
Who's that? Absolutely, I'm trying to get answers. We first told you at 5 about the 10,000 gallons of wastewater that spilled out of this lift. And I can tell you, since we've been here, the stench has grown a lot worse. And that 10,000 gallons went into the nearby drainage ditch you can see here, and then it flowed into Poley Creek. And the families who live in this neighborhood said that they heard this alarm go off. It's not the first time. We spoke to Polk County Utilities. They said they are working on replacing about a third of the lifts in the county because of old control panels, although they said this morning's spill was because of a power outage. Now, if you take a look, we did pull some records because we've told you there has been a history of sewage spills in the area. You can see that Northwest Water Treatment Plant had 200,000 gallons spilled. Davenport had over 1,200. The Mosaic Plant sinkhole, 215 million gallons. And of course, we remember all of those. It's an ongoing issue. And so we want to bring in Lisa Burkett. She actually just came up to us very upset. She lives at this home. It backs up to Poley Creek where this sewage spilled into. And you said this is not the first time it's happened.
No, it's happened several times. It flooded into our neighbor's house twice. And now it's gone into the creek. We don't know if it's affected our pond or not. And we're waiting to hear from them now. I phoned them just a little while ago to find out.
And you said that you were upset because of how you found out. They weren't being proactive.
I found out on social media, not from the county. No one came to our door to notify us because this could affect our fish, our pond, our turtles. So they should notify us and come and take care of this problem. No one's out here sampling the water. No one's doing anything right now, as you can see.
Now, they did say they're going to wait till the weather gets better to come back out and sample, but you said, you want them to notify you. Anything else that you want them to know, since this has been an ongoing issue just in this neighborhood?
Well, they need to fix it. This has been ongoing several times this has happened. They need to fix it once and for all.
All right, thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you.
I appreciate you talking with us.
Thank you.
Hopefully we can get some answers. As you saw, there's a history of these spills. I'm sure we'll continue to follow up on this. Live in Polk County, Shelby Danielson, 10 News.
Shelby?
Well, I can tell you this is such a resilient community, despite the fact that many people lost their homes, their neighborhoods covered in hazardous debris. Now you can see in the middle of the road, especially late at night, is dangerous. These power lines just lying here. And then further down the road here, you can see a large tree completely blocking the road. Well, all of this has families telling me that it's much worse than Katrina. Still, it does not make the cut for federal assistance.
I've lost everything in this tornado. Everything is gone.
Yoshika Brown is used to this feeling,
I lost everything in Katrina.
but she says nothing could have prepared her family for this.
This devastation is a bit different.
And she doesn't just mean because it's not underwater this time. It's different because the federal aid hasn't been as swift.
At this point, I'm just trying to figure out what I can do for myself. I'm not really trying to, wait for a disaster assistance.
Today, officials addressed that very issue and assured the community that the state's $304 million budget gap would not impact the federal relief they're pursuing.
You will have the robust disposal, the resources at the disposal of the state of Louisiana at your beck and call, regardless of the fact that we're facing this deficit.
What adds to the delay in federal aid is the fact that this has not been declared a federal disaster yet. In fact, the last federal disaster here was in August for widespread flooding, an event which Governor John Bel Edwards is still seeking relief money for in D.C. today.
This is not a FEMA designated emergency yet, and people should not be expecting the same kind of emergency aid that they got right after Katrina.
So while officials are asking for patience, families are now gathering what's left of their homes, many just thankful to still be alive.
We lost no lives, so that's the most important thing.
While these tornadoes caught many people off guard, we're told that one upside to having disasters in the past is that this time they were more equipped, if not structurally, at least emotionally.
They still have life, we can rebuild.
I really think Katrina made us strong.
It humbles you and it makes you have more compassion for people.
And one thing that I want to add is just how much praise this community gave first responders today. Although I mentioned that there are still some wires hanging here, utility workers were out all day today, and I can tell you they'll be out here again tomorrow. A lot of people were calling them heroes. In New Orleans East, Shelby Danielson, Eyewitness News.
Shelby, thank you.
Well, the big story out here at Jacksonville Beach, Neptune Beach, Atlantic Beach is how they were expecting to be underwater, just like Hurricane Matthew, when that water came crashing over the dunes and really flooded this entire area. And it was a complete change from what they expected out here. And you mentioned it, the dunes. We showed you the dunes earlier, but there was a second thing at work here, a really teamwork with the dunes that made all the difference. And that is these water pumps. And I've been talking about these for the last 48 hours. But that's because they really saved the beach's community. And you may not realize it, but in that intense wind and rain yesterday, there were city workers out here that were moving these pumps from access point to access point so they could bring out all that water from the street and flow it back out here, and that is what prevented all of these homes from being completely underwater. Now, I do want to show you just really quick what the last 48 hours in this community has looked like. As Irma made landfall at the beach, our freshly restored dunes were battered but held on.
The sound was just really loud, like freight train, that freight train sound that everybody always talks about.
As it approached, many here didn't know what to expect.
I'm panicked. People are panicked. But you got to be excited and you got to respect it. You got to respect it. But I'm still here, but I respect it.
The worst of it hit homes in the dark overnight as power flickered off.
I thought it was kind of scary because it was my first time ever staying in a hurricane.
In daylight Monday, people noticed a stark contrast to 2016's Hurricane Matthew.
We're very blessed because Matthew last year this whole area was
The
flooded.
difference this time around owed to those additional dune barriers and these water pumps, which Public Works kept working throughout the storm.
On a scale of 1 to 10, they were a 10, if not a 12. They have to be here. If not, Matthew, it was knee deep.
The Sanctuary subdivision was hit with flooding again, as it was with Matthew, and many homes and businesses along 1st Street South were torn apart by the wind. But families are feeling fortunate.
If they hadn't have done the dunes, it would have been like it was for Matthew. So we're very grateful and thankful to the city of Jax Beach, and I think they've done a tremendous job out here.
Many here know Irma's wrath was much worse elsewhere, just on the other side of town.
I've not only seen them, I've been sent some pictures that are astounding to me because I've never seen that. As I've been a Jacksonville resident for most of my life, I've never seen downtown look like that. And as we were waiting for the lights to come on and the bridge to open, they were still evacuating down, in San Marco and other areas.
I think people are well aware of that. You heard from the mayor of Neptune Beach there that there was a lot of damage in this area, but they were really watching the downtown Jacksonville, North Side, St. Augustine just completely be underwater and really feeling for them. I just want to show you really quick. Be careful when you come out here, especially at night. There is a lot left out here. I mean, things like this. There are big pieces of wood that have nails in them. There you go. I almost just tripped over one. An example right there. So you want to be very careful. And Joe, if you can make your way over here or maybe shine your light, be very careful. I just want to show you guys an example. If you didn't see my live shot a little while ago, our dunes did such a great job, but they were all the way up here, and then the waves, you can see, pushed it all the way back here. And this isn't even one of the worst ones. There's one I showed earlier that's a huge crater. So you can see these with those water pumps made all of the difference. And I know this community is very glad, and huge kudos to all of the city leaders out here who really made this happen. Live at Jacksonville Beach, Shelby Danielson, First Coast News on your side. Hey guys, we are out at Jacksonville Beach. Woo! The wind is picking up, and the really tough part about the wind out here, I know it's windy everywhere, but the sand is coming out here with that wind, so you're getting pelleted by all of this sand. I know there are some people who've been out here wanting to see what it looks like, but really this is just the beginning of it, as we know, and that sand really actually hurts when the wind just kind of pushes it onto your skin. Wow, that is strong. Now I wanted you to check back in with us because earlier we showed you that this water pump had actually broken. There are 8 water pumps along the beach, and if you saw it earlier, and if not, I tweeted some video of it, you will have seen that this entire area was flooded because that water pump had broken, and now you can see just 20 minutes later they fixed it, they replaced it, and look how quickly that flooding has dried up, just proving how these water pumps work so well. This entire intersection here was up past my boots. So I wanted to just show you that because these water pumps were put here for a reason, to pump out that excess water back into the ocean to prevent flooding. So clearly, after this one was fixed, you can see they are doing their job. This dried up very quickly. I spoke with the man a little earlier. Like I mentioned, some people are still out and about, and he said that he is excited for what Irma may bring because it's so unexpected, but he said he's also petrified. So they're really trying to get back into shelter now after seeing what it looked like. You can hear from him. This is Bobby Welton. Did you say that you were camped out?
Yeah, well, I live on 11th South, and I'm in a concrete bunker and 150-mile-an-hour wind resistance and whatever for the doors and the windows, so we're not leaving. We're not leaving.
Are you nervous? A lot of people, were you flooded during Matthew?
Well, the streets were, but we're 17 feet above sea level, solid concrete, so we're not going anywhere, and it's just exciting.
You're about to be blown over now.
Well, I tried to watch the Redskins game, and they lost because I lost DirecTV, but it's okay. But it's all really, we're going to be fine, but it's rough, as you can see right now, but we're going to be fine.
Do you
here. Do they have me, Joe? All right, it's a little hard to hear out here. So you just heard from Bobby Welton. He is a Jacksonville Beach resident. He is quite a character. I don't know if you heard it from him just then because I couldn't hear exactly what he was saying, but he told us that his garage door was open as he briefly walked around to see what the conditions looked like. And he said that his TV was stolen out of his garage and he has filed a police report. And that is the first actually hurricane-related crime that we've heard of, because I checked in with the Neptune Beach, Atlantic Beach, and Jacksonville Beach mayors earlier today, and they told me they've had 0 hurricane-related crimes. So he's gonna send me that police report and I'm gonna follow up with that. But I want to show you the conditions are very severe out here. This wind is picking up quite a bit. I'm going to send things back into you guys. You can check back in with us in just a little bit. Live at Jacksonville Beach, Shelby Danielson, First Coast News.
Reporter Shelby Danielson from WTLV in Jacksonville standing by for us. Shelby, I was going to ask you what it's like right now, but I can see for myself you are just getting pounded with rain.
Absolutely, just the horizontal rain blowing through here. The wind very powerful, and you can see we are very close to the bayfront. Right behind me here, the Bridge of Lions, which will close down. And the Whitecaps, you probably can't see it right now because it's so dark, but the water is so choppy, and just on the other side of this bridge is the St. Augustine Marina. And the concerning part about that is that there are still large boats tied up to that marina, and there are just restaurants and businesses that line this bayfront. So if that wind is powerful enough as we're expecting it to be, it could untie those boats and they would come flying across into these businesses. That is a very real concern that we did discuss earlier with the fire chief here. And of course, most of these businesses, if not really all of St. Augustine, look just like this. You can see the boarded up windows and doors, the sandbags you can't see, but they're further below all around the corner. That's what happened yesterday all around St. Augustine. Just before people evacuated at the last minute, they made sure everything was boarded up because they know the danger that is coming this way, especially with those storm surges right here at this bayfront, expected about 9 feet high at least.
That is extraordinary, Shelby. So I'm curious, have you been approached by local authorities and been told this is your absolute time that you must leave the area as well? Because it sounds like most people have evacuated the region and taken this very seriously. How about you guys?
Absolutely. We spoke with the fire chief a little while ago. He's very emotional about this. Like a lot of authorities, you know, they take kind of responsibility. They want people to leave, you know, because they're leaving as well. And he did tell us, he said, where are you going? You know, when are you getting out of here? You should not be here. Well, that's why we've moved a little further away from the bayfront. We moved further away from the flooding. There are streets that are flooded up to my knees. A little further down, we are seeking some shelter here. There are shelters around the area, and we also have a hotel, other media crews as well doing the same thing. So, you know, we're not trying to be hypocritical and telling people to leave, and then we're saying we are definitely being prepared to move further away if we have to. We just want to be able to warn people here. And I will say about that fire chief, you know, he went around yesterday. We followed him, drove around St. Augustine, and he got out of his car and he confronted every single person that he ran into, asking them, why are you still here? You need to leave. You cannot be here, because in just a couple of hours, he and his entire fire department will be actually leaving. There will be a convoy of vehicles from the fire department here in St. Augustine that will be leaving this city. Other law enforcement will be doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's a really tough thing because they're just trying to prevent loss of life. As you've heard the governor say there, Rick Scott, he said things can be replaced, homes can be repaired, loss of life cannot. So we understand why it's so emotional. We can hear the rain pounding on you, so I'm just going to ask you quickly, is it hard to stand up in this? How about the winds? Because it looks like they're picking up.
Absolutely. When I'm closer to the bayfront, it is very difficult to stand. Another reason why we moved away. Even yesterday, when it was somewhat sunny outside, the wind was crazy. You can see it's picking up as I speak. Moving just this far away from the bayfront, though, I'm actually able to stand still. It's just this rain, and I can tell you it's kind of painful, the rain coming through. And another thing I want to mention, if you can still hear me, is one thing that St. Augustine has an issue of that nobody else really has that St. Augustine is the oldest city in our nation. That means there are the majority of the buildings in St. Augustine have been here for over 100 years. And that's why a lot of people are choosing to stay, because they're so emotionally tied to their homes. But because they're so old, that is a major concern, a major factor in their stability, or lack thereof, really.
All right, well, WTLV Shelby Danielson, excellent reporting there despite these just horrible conditions for you. Thank you so much, Shelby. I'd like you to get some shelter right now and get inside if you can possibly do that. Thank you. Let's go to MSNBC's Cal Perry. Did you see that reporter?
Anthony, a small remnant left behind from this morning's investigation, crime tape that blocked off this area as JSO gathered evidence. If you look behind me, you can see a red truck. Multiple cars are now parked on the property where witnesses say 22-year-old Keegan Roberts drew his last breath. Those are family and friends who are now with Roberts' pregnant wife and his 2-year-old daughter, who he leaves behind. And we're told that his wife was actually standing with him when he was shot to death. An argument with the neighbor across the street that escalated into this gunfire. And one neighbor tells us that both men had guns during this argument, but we haven't had those details confirmed by JSO right now. They're still investigating. The man who fired those deadly shots was taken in for questioning. Like I said, he lives just across the street. He's now been brought back home. He hasn't answered the door for us, but we spoke to his next door neighbor. She says she watched it all unfold.
I was laying in bed right here and I heard 3 gunshots, and 7 or 8 minutes later, it was just swarming with cops. And I walked outside directly after that. He was being arrested. The cops came out with a large rifle, large gun. I don't know if it was the one that was used.
So you saw officers actually put him in handcuffs?
Yeah, he was walking out with them. Like his hands were like this, behind his back.
And you're looking at the property again where that argument happened. Now, a statement from Stephen Norwood, a close friend of the victim. He says, quote, "He was just the most joyful person in the world. You would never see Keegan without a smile on his face. All he wanted to do was be a good husband and father, but he won't ever get that chance." And actually, nice things are being said about both neighbors, because another man told us that the man who fired those deadly shots just got out of the military and was going to go back to school, and that he was also referred to as a kind neighbor. So easy to say that neighbors are shocked by this. Again, no charges, but this investigation continues. Live on the South Side, Shelby Danielson, First Coast News.
Hey, Ken, if you can look behind me right now, it looks like SWAT officers are coming out with people from inside of the building. Look behind me right now across the street. This is unfolding. I'm going to get out of the way. As we told you a minute ago, there were a bunch of officers that ran out, and then SWAT swarmed inside, went inside the building. We didn't want to give you too many details, and now, as you can see, they are walking across the street. Obviously, civilians with them. So this is coming from Community First Bank on Edgewood. It looks like they got them out of the bank. Of course, until we get all of the details from JSO, we don't know what else is happening right now. As if you're just joining us, we know that a bank robbery occurred around 9 a.m. There was a hostage situation. There was one suspect believed to be inside, a man with a handgun. And now we are watching. If you look in, you can see a man on a walker coming across the street, escorted by SWAT, other officers. And I was speaking to a woman here earlier. Let's see if I can find her really quick. Oh, ma'am, do you see your daughter over there? Do you see your daughter? Can you come talk to us? This is great. If you can just come over here, Nick, this is the woman that we spoke to earlier. Her daughter was inside. Did you see her cross the street, ma'am?
Yeah, I saw her across the street, yes.
So she's okay?
She's okay. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, Lord.
Did you wave to her? Have you been able to call her or anything yet?
Well, I waved at her. She has on a red skirt and a black top on. And I see her with them high heel shoes. So she's okay. She's okay.
I saw you try to run over there, but what did they tell you, to hold off for a second?
Yeah, they won't let me go over there. But yes, I just want to hold her and let her know that God is in the plan. Hallelujah.
I'm so glad that she's okay. I'm so glad that you saw her. I know you're very emotional right now and you want to just go see her. Thank you so much for talking with us. We're glad she's okay.
You're welcome.
All right, and tell us your name again.
My name is Clara Cruz.
Clara Cruz. Okay,
Yeah.
well, she's okay. When she gets over here, maybe we can talk to her if she's feeling up to it, okay? All right, thank you so much again, Clara. All right, again, that's Clara Cruz. We've been speaking with her. Her daughter works inside, and she says, as we were just showing you, the SWAT coming across the road with people inside, she saw her daughter. She believes her daughter is okay. We just heard from her. Very emotional, of course, and she wanted to run over and see her daughter, which I don't blame her, but officers are asking everyone to stay back. Of course, as SWAT crossed the street, that doesn't mean that the situation is completely over, so we need to wait for an all clear before we can go any closer from where we are right now. But it looks like right now everyone who was inside, or at least several people, are over in this area where all of these emergency vehicles are. They had emergency medical supplies here just in case. This is in front of Good Shepherd School, which has been on lockdown for a while now. And so as you can see, officers are still out here. There's still SWAT members are still surrounding that building. So I want to emphasize that you still need to avoid this area, and that it, though people have come out, we don't know where the suspect is. The one suspect, a man believed to be inside with a handgun, so he may still be inside at this time because we have not heard or seen otherwise.
Great food too.
It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
First Coast News' Shelby Dennison right now is live at the Southern Women's Show. She has a look at what's going on. Shelby, what are you getting into? It looks like she's in someone's fridge.
Well, yes. Hey, you guys, welcome. I'm just helping out Dennis here prepare this lovely meal, and he has put me in charge of the lettuce. I'm very excited. Thank you, Dennis. Now, this is obviously set up at the Southern Women's Show, as you guys have been saying. Dennis, tell us what you are making and if people are going to get a chance to taste it.
Oh, yes. I'll be here at 2:30 this afternoon, and everyone loves dumplings, so I thought we would make some nice steamed dumplings today.
I remember when we talked 2 years ago, you said that you'd have gluten-free food.
Yes.
Just asking for a friend. So dumplings are gluten-free, or?
We can make them gluten-free,
Oh, all right, okay. And we want to thank our lovely audience right here. And we know that Southern Women's Show will be starting at 10 this morning. It will go until 7 this evening, go through Sunday, 11 to 5 on Sunday. And are we going to get this cooking, or do I get to do anything?
Oh, sure.
Taste test
well,
it,
the steam
or?
is started, and
Oh.
that's the great thing about a steamer. It's real easy to just put anything you want in there, very healthy.
Oh, there we go, right here. And you are the owner and chef of Blue Bamboo Restaurant.
Yep, over on Southside Boulevard.
And all people need to do is just follow their nose back here, right?
Yep.
And it's right across from the Wine and Canvas over there, which we really wanted to do. We may do that after this. All right, well, we're really having a great time out here. You should check it out for yourself. Southern Women's Show at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you to our lovely audience. And we will check back in with you guys a little bit later.
Thanks for that, Shelby, and your lovely audience.
Dennis is awesome,
too.
by the way. Blue Bamboo.